please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Person?
Here.
Mr. Prince?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Mr. Bravoni?
Here.
Ms. Perez? Here. Mr. McGurven?
Here.
Ms. Witchy? Here. Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thanks, Megan. First item on the agenda is a proclamation.
Okay, this proclamation is regarding Education and Sharing Day. Whereas excellence in education is vital to the success of our nation and our state. And in the state of Washington, we seek the betterment of our citizens and look to instill each child with a good education. And whereas by preparing our students for the responsibilities and opportunities of the future, education develops the intellect through lessons in literacy, math, and science. And whereas one shining example of what education ought to be was provided by the Rabbi Mechem Skinnerson, a global spiritual leader who dedicated his life to the betterment of mankind, emphasized the importance of education and good character, and instilled the hope for a brighter future into the lives of many people across the globe. And whereas, as taught by Rabbi Skinnerson, education should not be limited to the acquisition of knowledge and preparation for a career, but for the betterment of society as a whole, emphasizing the building of character and highlighting moral and ethical values. And whereas in recognition of the rabbi's contributions towards improvement in world education, morality, and acts of charity, he has been awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, and the United States Congress has established his birth date as the National Day to raise awareness and strengthen the education for our children. And whereas the President of the United States has paid recognition to this vision each year on the date by proclaiming it Education and Sharing Day, USA. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim April 16th, 2019 to be Education and Sharing Day in the City of Renton, and I encourage all members of the community to reach out to young people and work to create a better, brighter, and more hopeful future for all. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal in the City of Renton to be affixed this 15th day of April, 2019, and this is signed by Mayor Dennis Law.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the proclamation be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Witchy, that this proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to administrative report. Jan Hahn.
Thank you. I have three brief reports. First, community has the opportunity to get assistance for spring cleaning. Renton's annual clean sweep program is now in effect from here until December 31st or December 28th. You can schedule one pickup of extra garbage for free. For more information, visit rentonwa.gov/cleansweep. Second, the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency have determined that the city will retain its Class 5 flood insurance program rating. This gives policyholders the opportunity to save 25% in premiums for new policies and for renewals. And then finally, there are a number of preventative street maintenance projects, traffic impact projects, and road closures. You can get more information about that at rentonwa.gov/traffic. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Next is audience comments. We have a couple signed up to address the council. When I call your name, please come to the podium, give your name and city of residence for the record, and you have 5 minutes. And this is Marvin and Mary Mitchell.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. My name's Marvin. My wife, Mary Mitchell. We're from Renton. We live in the Kennydale neighborhood, Barbie Mill specifically. I want to bring to your attention a problem we've been experiencing for several years. And it involves the off-leash dog laws that we have in the city. It appears that because of our unique situation, having a public trail system on private property, there seems to be some ambiguity about enforcement of the leash laws in our neighborhood. We have been experiencing a loss of our peace and tranquility because unlike other parts of the city, we seem to be getting a lot of off-leash dogs in our area, especially down near where the May Creek goes into Lake Washington. There's a large green space area there. I think we know that dogs are supposed to be on a leash within the city limits of Renton, but and we even have rules as they pertain to, let's say, Coulon Park and our other many parks in the city, where they don't even allow dogs in Coulon Park. Well, guess where they go? They go to our neighborhood. And what we're finding is, while we have called to, animal control, we don't always get a response, and then the response doesn't seem to be very strong. I have yet to see in the 6 years we've lived there, even one citation written. We like it that people come down and enjoy our neighborhood. We want them, people from the community, to come down and share the beautiful surroundings that we have down there. But, and we don't even mind if you bring your dog if they're on a leash. But what we're finding is people with dog throwers, we've become a dog park.
Off-leash dog park.
An off-leash dog park.
And we do have signage at the head of our trail that Barbie Mill paid for. Barbie Mill pays for the maintenance of that area, and it's been disregarded that the leash laws pertain there.
I think one of the things, we need a couple of things, I think. We need stronger enforcement and less ambiguity about what the rules are. Yes, it's a unique situation. Public trail on private property. And that was part of the permitting process in order to get Barbie Mill built, and we understand that. But at the same time, the same rules that apply citywide and in our parks should apply in our neighborhood too. So in addition to stronger enforcement, we'd like to see the city put up strong signage that makes it known what the rule is. We've done that already, including the Renton
City code.
City Code. But we need something that would tell people absolutely what the rule is, and maybe where the nearest dog park is located, so that they have an option to go up there. We've been very patient, hoping that people would get the hint, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So after several years of being patient and working with the city and coming up with a set of rules that pertains to alcohol and camping and loitering and dogs, we've got a nice set of very understandable rules
That are posted.
But they're being disregarded.
Okay. Well, I can assure you I can get a little bit quicker reaction than 6 years from the enforcement side. The other thing is the commander in charge of the Animal Control Division just happens to be in the audience tonight, so we'll be sure to start addressing those issues. If you'd like to provide the commander in the back of the room with your contact information, then we can stay in touch with you.
Yes,
Okay?
happy to. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to consent agenda. Let's see. We have 10 items for council consideration. Are there any items that council member would like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
seeing none, I move the consent agenda be adopted as read.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Witchy, that the council concur with the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Person.
No unfinished business?
Okay, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Planning and Development Committee has a committee report.
This committee report is regarding shopping cart fine deferrals. The Planning and Development Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to increase the number of allowed shopping cart fine deferrals within any given month from 3 to 8. Additionally, staff recommends that if any store has 12 or more carts impounded in a calendar month, the fine amount for each cart should be doubled to $200. The Planning and Development Committee further recommends that an ordinance be prepared and presented for first reading when it is complete. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move the council concur with the recommendation of the Planning and Development Committee.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Planning and Development Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I appreciate you handling this today. As you know, we instituted this shopping cart ordinance some time ago. Time flies by, so I can't remember exactly when it
2016.
was. But we have had tremendous cooperation from 90% of our grocery stores who've gone to great expense to help us keep the streets clear of shopping carts. As you know, people still take them out all the time, and the stores are doing the best they can, and it's pretty easy for them to miss a cart or whatever, and they're receiving citations when we end up picking them up. So what we want to do is not penalize the partners we have with the good retail merchants, and those that just aren't very conscientious about it, we decided they'll pay a little more. So I appreciate you passing this through.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
and we've asked staff to come back to us in 6 months with additional data. There had been some concern in committee that with the number, I think the number was 12, that there might be an increase in carts from some of the bad actors. So we asked them to come back in 6 months with the data just to show us
Yeah,
where
in
we're at.
fact, if we saw a pattern happen, we'd probably be back to you sooner than that. So you bet. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, no reports to announce or share, but I did want to say while I have the floor, I know many of us really enjoyed the Renton Rooftop Dragon event on Saturday. It was Saturday, right?
Saturday, yeah.
I really, more than anybody, want to thank Marcia Rollinger for making all of that happen, making the Dragon happen. She's given credit to Mitch Shepard, who was sitting with her when they came up with that idea. But credit needs to be so widely shared for this success. She was a driving force behind it, but you, Mr. Mayor, my council colleagues, the building owner, the Arts Commission. The Arts Commission was front and center through the whole process. And what an amazing accomplishment. I think it's, I think we're giving the Fremont Troll a run for the money with our
Yeah, I
dragon.
agree.
And it doesn't have glowing eyes.
No,
so.
it doesn't. Yeah.
So anyways, well done to everybody, and I'm so grateful that the city was able to get together on such a big project, and so thankful to Marcia for following through for last few years. So
You're
thank
right.
you.
Thanks. And it was a fun event. A lot of people, I was down there early. Councilmember McGurven and Perez were down there early. He was in true form. We discussed maybe that could be the new council uniforms.
Yeah.
He looked
Only
really
if he wears it.
good, so.
I know nothing.
Well, yeah, Mr.
nothing.
Mayor,
No.
I learned that he's actually in costume now.
Oh,
That was his normal clothes when
Yeah.
he was down there.
that would make sense. Okay, well, thank you. Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Finance has 2 committees to be read tonight.
The first committee report is regarding approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves the following payments. Accounts payable, total payment of $6,802,674.42, and payroll for a number of vouchers, and payroll benefit withholding for a number of vouchers and 8 wire transfers. Payroll, total payment of $1,419,215.22 for payroll vouchers, which includes 676 direct deposits and 16 checks for the March 1st through 15th, 2019 pay period. And the municipal court, total payment of $15,144.04 for vouchers 017402 through 017419. And the listing of the voucher numbers can be found on the record with the city clerk's office. And this is signed by the committee chair and vice chair.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr.
I
Pavoni.
move that the council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, second by Mr. Prince, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
The next committee report is regarding the 2019 carry forward and first quarter budget amendment ordinance and amending the 2019-2020 fee schedule. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve an amendment in the 2019-2020 budget appropriations in the amount of $103,959,706, with the total amended budget to be $629,014,390 for the biennium. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve an amendment in the 2019-2020 fee schedule as noted in a redlined version in the attached 2019-2020 fee schedule. The committee further recommends that the ordinance regarding the 2019 carry forward and first quarter budget amendment be presented for first reading, and that the resolution regarding the 2019-2020 fee schedule be presented for reading and adoption. This is signed by the committee chair and vice chair.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Pavoni.
first I want to thank Finance for taking an issue like finance and putting together a report that was very easy to understand. I appreciate the detail. It can be very daunting on the size of finance that the city has. Second, I'd like to have the council concur with the findings of the Finance Committee.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Pavoni, second by Mr. Prince, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
That is all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. McGurven.
No unfinished business, Ms. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Witchy.
No unfinished business. However, since we're on the topic of the Dragon, I did want to bring up one thing. It's immensely popular. People are trying to drive by and see it while they're driving, and people are trying to find the ideal photo op location. And I would like to refer to planning and development the idea of looking into a designated photo op spot or a place where people can go to safely take their selfies, because I just feel like it's going to be an accident waiting to happen with the traffic moving through and people trying to take pictures in the middle of the street. Is that something we can refer to P&D?
You could. I guess one of the things, if you would like, is I could have our staff take a look at that and maybe come back to you with any ideas, if you'd like.
That would be great.
Okay.
Feel
Does
better about that.
That work? Okay, that's what we'll do.
Thank
So,
you.
for clarification, we are not referring that into committee?
We're not.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to legislation. We have one resolution and 3 ordinances.
Okay, the first resolution is a resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, adopting the 2020 through 2025 business plan.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr.
would
Person.
the council adopt the 2020 to 2025 business plan?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Ms. Witchy, that council concur with the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the first ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending the City of Renton fiscal years 2019 through 2020 biennial budget as adopted by ordinance number 5898 in the amount of $103,959,706.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Pavoni.
I move the ordinance be put on the next council meeting for a second and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Mr. Prince, that this ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
The next ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, imposing the local option sales and use tax to be credited against the state sales and use tax for local revitalization financing pursuant to RCW 82.14.510.
Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the move the ordinance be approved for second reading next week.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Ms. Witchy, that this ordinance be advanced to second and final reading to the next council meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, and the final ordinance, which is an ordinance for second and final reading, is an ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, dissolving the Renton Library Advisory Board and replacing Chapter 2-13 of the Renton Municipal Code and providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Witchy.
I move the ordinance be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Witchy, seconded by Mr. McGurven, that this ordinance be adopted as read and requires a roll call.
Mr. Person?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Corman?
Aye.
Mr. Pavoni?
Aye.
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Mr. McGurven?
Aye.
Ms. Witchy?
Aye.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all ayes.
Great, thanks, Megan. I wanted to mention on this, this particular ordinance and the Library Advisory Board, we owe them a great deal of thanks for, gosh, how long has it been now since we built the new libraries in KCLS?
5 years, 4 or 5
6
years.
Yeah, this advisory group's been really conscientious and have done a lot of things over the years to make it a smooth transition and to also maintain that the interests of Renton were met by the library. Over the last couple of years, they've pretty much accomplished the things that they were originally set out to do, and we've worked with them trying to figure out if there was just some other expansion of duties and weren't able to do that. But I want to really point out that most of those members are active on other committees and they're very active in the community, and so we really appreciate all the work they did. And we're going to have some sort of a reception at some point in time soon, so we'll let you know when that happens.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, yes, Mr. Prince.
so while I hate that we're losing our library advisory board, I really do honor the volunteers who've worked so hard to, to make it what it is. And I hope, and I know that so many of them are involved, I hope that they continue to be involved in other things. And if there's another board and commission that they're interested in being in, that we can get them on one.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to new business, Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Committee of the Whole will meet next Monday, April 22nd. That's scary, that's that far along in the year. And I'm changing the time to 5 p.m., which will mean that the other committees will have to move back by a half hour.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is I'm adding to it a discussion on the pavilion, continuing the discussion on the pavilion building that we heard tonight. The next one will be neighborhood program, community engagement, dog parks, which is kind of an interesting topic after this evening.
Yeah.
Parking of oversized vehicles in the city and emerging issues. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So now the Planning and Development Committee will be starting at 3:30 p.m. on Monday, April 22nd. I have 3 items on the agenda. The Benson Hill Community Plan Advisory Board appointment, the Williams and Wells two-way conversion, and emerging issues in CED. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Corman.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Pavoni.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Utilities Committee will meet on April 22nd at, I guess, 4:30 at the in the council conference room. There are 4 items in the agenda. Water and wastewater utilities 2017-2018 contract amendment. Southeast 172nd Green Stormwater Design Agreement, Thunder Hills Sewer Contract Amendment, Emerging Issues in Utility, King County Solid Waste Management Plan Amendments, and rescheduling the May 27 Utilities Committee meeting. That will be it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McGurven.
No new business, Mr. Mayor, but I did want to briefly take a quick swing at the Rooftop Dragon since I passed by it the first time, if I can. I just wanted to share that it was a great event. I had a really fantastic time. That might be the most fun I've ever had. So when we were sitting in Committee of the Whole earlier and we were talking about the futures of the pavilion and really bringing to life that idea of that festival street there, that's all I could think about was how much fun it was having that street shut down and having basically a block party with a live band playing. Yeah. So I think everyone already got thanked, but I don't know if I heard the Downtown Partnership and the Chamber and everyone. I mean, the risk of thanking people is you're going to miss people. So it was a great event when it all got put together. So I hope to see more of that in the future.
Yeah. That's great.
Great.
Ms. Witchy.
No new business. However, I did want to announce that the Witchies of the Coast came in 19th place on the dinosaur egg hunt.
Okay. That's not bad.
I mean, the dragon egg. I keep saying dinosaur. It's a dragon egg. But yeah, we came in 19th place. The Witchies of the Coast.
It's called the agony of defeat.
Hey, top 50 got a prize.
What's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
It's moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.